I have been on this earth for 22 years now, and for some of you that may not seem like such a long time. However, I have seen a number of weird stuff in these 22 years. I have. And some of the stuff I see, I take photos of. They may be weird stuff, they may be bizarre stuff, they could be funny stuff, they could be all sorts of stuff that I have seen. I've just taken photos of it. And I realized, like, looking back in my photo album, maybe I should share with you some of the weird stuff I have encountered. And so that's what this series will be. It's called Things I See. I already have a folder full of stuff, photos and videos, that I'd like to share with you of a whole lot of weird stuff that I've seen. But right now, we're just going to look at 5 of those things and discuss and analyze this weird stuff that has gazed upon my eyes and my vision. So, why don't we start with the first one? This first one here. I walked into the bathroom, and as I went to the urinal, I took sight of this weird display in my eyes. It was a bug sitting in the urinal, and it was alive. It was alive. So, with this photo, I just have one question for you. A question for all the men out there. What are you gonna do? You see this, you go to a urinal, and you see that sitting in the urinal. What are you gonna do? I don't have to say anything else other than that. You probably know exactly what I mean. I'm sure any guy who hears this knows what I mean. Maybe even some women. But plain and simple, you walk into a bathroom, you want to go, relieve yourself of your urine. But you see this right there. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Next one I saw was something I noticed when I was in the kitchen one day. I was in the kitchen, doing my regular stuff, and I noticed this weird sight in this sugar bottle thing, whatever they call them things, the sugar container. And I looked at that and I thought, interesting. There is a dead ant inside the sugar container. And I thought to myself, he died surrounded by what he loved. So, I gotta give him that. Think about it. Imagine you just sit there and you drown in your favorite food. Me personally, I wouldn't mind going out like that. And I'm sure that's how this ant went out. This ant went out in complete glory and bliss. And although it's weird and maybe a bit gross, you gotta respect him for that. He went out in a very lovely fashion. You gotta give him that. You gotta give him that. Sure, it's gross, but it's not the worst thing you could see. And there are some worse, weirder stuff that I have seen. On to the next one. Now, this was just outright disrespectful when I encountered this. I ordered some food at a restaurant, and it was supposed to be some fried mushrooms, right? However, as I was, eating some of my fried mushrooms, I noticed one of them looked kind of unusual. And I'm like, wait a minute. This mushroom reminds me of something. Yes, it reminds me of something in particular. You see, I've seen lots of this sort of stuff back in... This is not gonna sound right. This is something you may see often in a high schooler or middle schooler's notebook or anywhere. I remember once back when I was in high school, someone got in trouble and all the boys' locker room had to be monitored. We all had to be monitored basically. Someone had to be in the locker room because someone drew a penis somewhere in the locker room. Now, it's unusual, of course. It's unusual, but there's nothing too surprising from a high schooler or middle schooler. It's nothing too surprising. However, when it comes to this particular instance right here, this is supposed to be a mushroom. Why is it shaped like this? Was this intentional? Is this just outright disrespectful? Why give this to me? Why would you offer me this dingling shaped mushroom? Fried mushroom. Obviously, I'm gonna guess it was fried and battered weird, but what can you say? Perhaps we can use this as a moment to learn about human anatomy. You see, as we see right there, those are the Now, this next one. This was something that I came across one day randomly. I was away on campus and I was thinking of something to eat because I was hungry. And I started looking at what was on a Wendy's menu because I knew there was a Wendy's nearby, and I figured, okay, maybe I'll look and see what I can find there. And I came across this cheeseburger right here, and when I looked at the calorie count of this burger, I was flabbergasted. I was astounded, bamboozled. Why is this burger 1,400 calories? That's a lot of calories for a burger. That is a huge amount. It reminds me of this time when I was playing the game Detroit Become Human, and there was a burger that Hank was eating that was heavy in calories. And I remember saying, it was during a live stream, I remember saying, if anyone could find a burger with that many calories, let me know. And funny enough, this was only about a month after that stream. I came across this burger that without a doubt had a heavy calorie number. A big bacon cheddar cheeseburger triple. Now, I wonder, how would you eat this burger? This burger is quite thick and stacked up. How does one, open up their mouth to, overcome the height of this burger? Is it possible? Do you have to eat it in pieces? How does one consume this burger? And Wendy's, is there a market for this burger? Who is buying this burger? If you have eaten this burger, please talk to me. We need to have a discussion about this because that is a heavy, huge burger. Surely one could not eat that in one sitting, right? Right? You would think so. I mean, I just saw it, I'm like, wow. 3 patties stacked on top of each other, all with their own slice of cheese, some bacon, onion rings, and whatever all the rest of that stuff is. Don't get me wrong now. It looks good. Let's just be honest. It looks somewhat good. It just looks excessive. That's the issue. I think if you take off a couple of those patties, you'd have a nice burger right there. And I'm sure Wendy's sell that, but when I came across this with my own eyes, wow. Like I said, if you eat this burger in one sitting, especially, if you ate that burger in one sitting, let's have a talk, because that's probably about 2/3 of your daily recommended calories, depending on, of course, other factors, but we ain't gonna worry about that. But if you've eaten that burger, let's have a chat. And last but not least, let's look at this last video. Now, this is a video I took in shortly before I was getting ready to go to school. I just woke up in the morning, and it was during high school, and I was like, alright, time for another day of high school. So I get up, I turn my light on, I look over at the tank of my crested gecko, and that right there is what I see. And I was just like, why in the world are you looking at me like that? It was disturbing in a way, quite disturbing. Just peering his head over looking at me as if he's trying to dodge me or something. Quite unusual. And I just had to get a video of that because that was unusual. Now, this is not the only of the weird behaviors I've seen my gecko in, or a show. I remember one time I was just sitting back watching TV in my room. It was dark. This was about maybe a couple years ago. Watching TV, and he would always get active when it's dark or nighttime because that's how crested geckos are. They're nocturnal. And I remember I'm sitting there just watching the TV, and he's just sitting there looking at me, just staring at me. And also I noticed, like, the way I sit, sometimes my foot my foot just may sit up somewhere, and he would try lunging himself at my toes. Just lunging himself, and I maybe move my toe somewhere, he'll follow like that. Like that. He'll just zip across, zip his head. If I start moving my toe back and forth like my foot. And if I bring close, he'll try biting at it. Bopping his head right into the glass frame he's in. And I'm thinking, man, I'm sure glad he ain't big. Now, imagine something like that as a dang T-Rex size. You see the problem, right? I mean, you're probably not that far off from some Jurassic Park, Ark Survival Evolved looking creature. I mean, he'd definitely be a carnivorous type, Perhaps you could say he is like a very miniature Allosaurus. And I am blessed that he is small, that if he was bigger, he would without a doubt eat me. But because I'm larger than him, I have the power. See, it's nice to have power over those around you, being bigger and stronger. It's also like manipulation. So, those are the 5 things that I wanted to share with you of weird stuff I've encountered over my life that I happened to take a photograph or video of. Hope you have enjoyed this. Adios.